This is Alex Spivey here with Go See Talk, covering Fantastic Fest 2023. I'm here with Francis Galluppi, here to talk about his film, The Last Stop in Yuma County. Francis.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what inspired you to become a filmmaker. What was it that you saw at a young age? What movie or TV show that kind of sparked this, that stuck with you?
It's kind of a long answer. I mean, I grew up with I've always loved movies, but you grow up watching Back to the Future and these huge spectacles, and it was always like, oh god, that'd be amazing, but it's like it feels impossible. You know what I mean? So actually, my background is music. I went to college for music. I spent most of my life playing drums and punk bands, and it wasn't until I was 28 where I broke my wrist and picked up a camera and started making things. And I think the movie, to answer your question about the one thing that inspired me, this is a weird answer, but I saw Funny Games and Mike Haneke, and actually the remake with Naomi Watts, and I saw that in theaters, and I was just like, holy fuck, okay, you can make something in a single room, and get a reaction out of an audience like that. I remember leaving the theater and just being dumbfounded. I couldn't talk for 20 minutes. I was like, I want to do that. And then, you go on a fucking Haneke binge and then you start going down the rabbit hole of cinema. But that was really, I think, the movie that kind of changed everything for me. And it's funny because I didn't do this on purpose, but there's a moment in Last Stop that's feels very Funny Games-y. And I did what Jim Cummings called me out on it while we were shooting, and then the second he said it, I was like, oh fuck. I swear to God, I didn't do that on purpose, but it is there. I see what you're saying. But yeah, so that movie, and then just movies in general. I'm a huge fucking fan of Hitchcock. I'll just start his filmography over from the very beginning, just periodically. I'm a student of Hitchcock. I've studied his work, Billy Wilder, and even though I played music my whole life in school for music, it was when I made that decision, when I made my first short with just my wife and I, no equipment, anything, I remember calling my friends and family and being I don't think I want to play drums anymore, I think I want to be a filmmaker. And everyone was like, yeah, that makes sense, do that. All you talk about is fucking movies, go make movies, So, you would think the opposite would happen of what are you talking about? You've been doing music your whole fucking life. But it wasn't. It was everyone was really supportive of just yeah, that's all you talk about. You should do that, So from there, it was just grabbing my bandmates and my best friends, no experience, and going out to the desert and making short films with, little to nothing.
Yeah, the desert certainly plays a big role in this movie.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed Funny Games, but when you mentioned these references, I could absolutely see it. Very quickly building that kind of pressure cooker.
Yes.
Adding to attention and adding more pieces to the board. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah.
That connection.
Yeah.
Specifically the movie name drops Badlands. Are there any westerns? Are there any kind of crime movies that were inspirational for this?
Yeah, we reference Rafifi too.
Right.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite movies. Any specifics? I love I look at this more of a neo-noir than Western. A lot of people watch it and it's a Western. It's kind of a noir.
Badlands has that same
totally.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love fucking noir. The Killing, Double Indemnity. But in terms of westerns, High Noon, again, that pressure cooker kind of ticking clock, Man Shot with Rebalance. I'm just a fan of just movies in general. I can't, I'll watch a Truffaut movie, and then the next night I'm watching Frankenhooker. You know what I mean? There's no movies are fun, and there's no distinction for me between something that's quote unquote pretentious and something that's just campy and fun. I don't care. I just love movies, all across the board.
I really do think that comes across. It feels like the movie is something that is not running from those roots, from those inspirations. It feels comfortable and confident in hitting those notes.
Yeah, and I know sometimes it's first time filmmakers they're throwing in all these movie references. It's am I doing too? But I think there's only a handful sequel. It's like, yeah, we got Badlands, we got, I think, Psycho.
Right.
Yeah. But that was an afterthought because fucking Jim actually looks like Anthony Perkins, so like I had to throw that in there. But yeah, and then Rafifi, which is like, I mean, that is one of the greatest sequences in cinema. Like, there's like no fucking dialogue, no score, and you're just on the edge of your seat. You know? Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Jim. Talking about dialogue, you have an amazing cast. Can you tell me about putting that cast together? And I mean, it's really incredible performances.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, again, like I love the horror community. I love horror, and like I've been a fan of most of this cast. And actually, most of them I had them in mind when I was writing the characters. So when it came time to casting, I just wrote letters to everybody and had a great casting director who was able to get everybody a letter, and I got really fucking lucky. Really lucky. Like, and honestly, like, I mean, after we had casted, like, after it was like Jim, Jocelyn, I saw Nick and I care a lot, and he was amazing. I saw Sierra McCormick in the Vast Night. It was like keeping the short list of actors that I was just like, I would see in an indie, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, I want to work with them. They were incredible. Like, nobody auditioned, nobody read. It was like, you're amazing. I had you in mind when I wrote the fucking script, But after we had like a handful, it was like, okay, time to just like cast the rest, like watch a bunch of tapes, and I was like, I don't know, we're getting really lucky. Like, well, can we push our luck a little bit further, And so, like, for Barbara Crampton, for instance, like, like it's a very small part, but
what a fun surprise!
Yeah. I thought it'd be fun. So I called my casting director. I was like, you think Barbara Crampton would do this? And he's like, no, dude. Like, what are you talking about? But they've worked together. So like, I mean, David, the casting director, has so many like connections in this community. So he just like reached out directly and hopped on a call with Barbara, and like we hit it off, and she did it. It was like a one-day thing. She is such a pro. She's amazing. Yeah. I wish they were here with us. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Barbara might be here she's not here for Suitable Flesh. Okay. Yeah. It was great. Well, I really enjoyed the film.
Thank you, man.
I had a great time talking to you.
Thank you.
And you'll love the movies. It absolutely is on the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a great time.
I wish we could talk more, man.
Oh,
yeah. Thank you. Well, we'll hang out at the festival.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll catch you around.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.
Cool, man. Yeah.